All right, that's it. Good morning, everyone. You may be seated. My name is Shaw Wilson, and I'm proud to serve as Baylor's assistant head of school. I would like to welcome all of you in person and remote to the installation service for Baylor's new president and head of school, Chris Angel. Before we begin, please join me in showing our appreciation for the wonderful music provided by Ben Spossett and members of the Baylor Orchestra. You know, installations are rare ceremonies in the life of Baylor. In fact, this is only the 10th such opportunity in the school's rich 129-year history. Such special occasions are often marked with the presence of many special guests, and I'd like to take a moment to welcome those folks to the Alumni Chapel today. If you are a current member of the Board of Trustees, please stand and be recognized. If you are a past member of the board, please stand and be recognized. Visiting friends and family of Mr. Angel, please stand. A warm welcome to you all, and thank you so much for being here. Finally, I'd like to recognize a couple of folks, previous Baylor leaders who have joined us today. I know he's watching virtually. Please welcome my headmaster and the school's 5th headmaster, Dr. Herbert B. Barks, Jr. Please also welcome Baylor's 9th headmaster, Scott Wilson, and his wife, Susan. What a wonderful occasion to have so many of Baylor's extended family present. And now, without further ado, let's get started. I'd like to ask Lily Catalanato, class of 26, to come forward and lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My name is Brett Cooper, class of 2022. Will you please join me in prayer? Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here today to celebrate new beginnings, we thank you for the amazing gifts you have given us this year. You remind us of how fortunate we are to be at this wonderful school in person this year, while so many others cannot. Today, we induct our next head of school into the Baylor community, and I pray for you to guide him as he leads us through all the events we will experience as a school in the years to come. Let the spirit and faith of our school drive our success throughout our time here at Baylor and lead our hearts to give us the desire to make an ever-needed positive difference in our world. In your name we pray. Amen.
Good morning, everyone. My name is William Montgomery, and I serve as the Dean of Faculty. I want to welcome you all again to the installation of our new head of school, Chris Angel. Installation. I have to admit that at first that title struck me as odd for an event as auspicious as this one. It sounded like we were going to pop the hood and pull out some needful part like the rudder and drop in a new one. This is the way my brain works sometimes, you see, mixed metaphors and all. But the more I've considered it, the more apt this idea of installing a part has felt. At Baylor, we're a part of something. We are a part of an institution with 129 years of vibrant life that existed before any of us were even born, and that will, Lord willing, exist long after each of us is gone. And while each of its members is significant, at Baylor, we're each a part of a community. Over 270 full-time faculty and staff, and over 1,050 students work together here every day. And these 1,300 some odd souls are a part of a powerful and common mission to foster in our people both the ability and the desire to make a positive difference in the world. Most importantly, we best accomplish this mission not as individuals, but together by doing our part to cultivate magnanimitas, greatness of soul, in each and every soul that sets foot on the Baylor campus every day. No one can do that alone. No one does that alone. And ours is a beautiful but difficult mission in which we must all play our part every day. So in this way, today very much is an installation. We add one more soul as a single but critical part of an amazing community that we all build together. So Chris, on behalf of every coach, every teacher, every faculty and staff member in the Baylor family, we welcome you. And we stand ready to serve with you as a part of this great shared mission that's Baylor.
Charles Mayfield, class of 92, and I'm here representing the alumni. I have the privilege of being the chair of the alumni board presently. It's wonderful. The saying goes, we see farther because we stand on the shoulders of giants. Baylor has a long history of making giants, business, athletics, academia, and certainly within the community. The greatness of spirit Baylor fosters in its students should and must start at the head of school. As so many of our great nation's institutions and traditions have come under fire, effective and committed leaders must continue to rise to the challenge and hold tightly to the core principles that have brought unprecedented greatness in the world. It is exactly that leadership that continues to forge a path forward for Baylor's mission, strategic plan, and magnanimitas. Mr. Angel, the alumni board and alumni are honored to serve Baylor under your leadership. We will answer the call and support your efforts to build the giants of tomorrow in every Baylor student. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jenny Stickley, and I'm here representing Baylor's Parent Alliance. Chris, it seems like yesterday when we were walking across the quad in red blazers, carrying backpacks full of heavy textbooks in tow, because yes, we were here before the internet and before the iPad. While I don't know how the time has moved so quickly from our time as Baylor students to your installation as the 10th headmaster of the school, I do know the years that passed in between prepared you well for this role. On behalf of Baylor's Parent Alliance, I'm thrilled to be standing here today, welcoming you home, as well as welcoming Peggy, Abigail, Rosemary, and Lily into the Baylor family. During these first few weeks, you've probably noticed that Baylor parents are involved in almost every facet of the school. Baylor parents work with admissions to promote the school. They support residential life to make the boarding experience even more special. They run concession stands, host tailgates, support faculty, donate resources beyond tuition to fund needs, cheer our teams to victory, and most importantly, push their children to make the most of the incomparable educational experience that Baylor provides. As Baylor parents yourselves, Abigail, welcome to the class of 2025. You and Peggy are now a part of Baylor's Parent Alliance. We look forward to partnering with you to further Baylor's mission and your vision for the future of the school. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Karai Stegall. Some of the best memories I have from when I was younger occurred at Baylor. I vividly remember being around 6 years old and running around campus, visiting Miss Kitty and being so happy when she let me pick any candy from her store, sitting in my grandmother, Linda Cook's office, staring out of her window at how gorgeous the campus was, and of course, going to Baylor summer camp. I went to my first Baylor Macaulay game when I was around 7 years old. And to this day, I may not be able to tell you exactly what happened in the game, but I can definitely tell you about how much excitement was flowing through the air. I had never seen a student section that had so much pride in their school. Every single student there knew that Baylor was their home and that no matter what happened during the game, nothing would ever change that. When the game ended and as I watched the student section storm the field, I knew that Baylor was exactly where I wanted to be. I dreamed of the day when I could finally go to school here. But no matter how much fun I had, I always had to go back to Nashville. There was a period of time when I had not visited Baylor for around 2 years. But as I stepped back onto campus for the first time again for 6th grade orientation, I found Baylor to be the same place I'd left. The beautiful big campus, smiling faces everywhere I looked, and most of all, the feeling of home that returned. Even though I probably knew Baylor better than most new 6th graders, walking into school on the first day, I was still nervous. I had just moved from Nashville and I only knew one person in my whole grade, but everyone welcomed me with open arms, and I know that we can do the same for Mr. Angel. Just like me, Mr. Angel is familiar with Baylor's campus. He went to school here and taught here. He left for a while, but he is back now, and I bet the feeling of home, just as mine did, returned as he stepped back on the hill. Just how this community welcomed me back home, I have complete confidence in every single one of us that we can do the same for Mr. Angel. Welcome him home by simply saying hi when you pass him on campus. Welcome him home by showing up to school events and cheering loudly for Baylor. Welcome him home by giving all our effort in the classroom. Mr. Chris Angel, head of the Baylor School, from all of the student body and me, welcome back home.
Good morning, students, faculty, board members, friends, and family. What an honor it is to be here today at Baylor, a place that is so special to Chris, but so special to me as well. I remember visiting campus years ago when we were dating, and at this time, Chris was coaching and teaching, and I instantly fell in love with the beauty and the splendor of this magical place, Baylor. Our married life began on this campus, living on the 3rd floor of Lupton Annex with our dog, Sunny, parenting many 11th and 12th grade boys. A couple of years later, we welcomed our first daughter, Rosemary, to this campus, and here is where she took her first steps. And here we are back today, a family of 5 that we like to call the Party of 5, excited for this new adventure back home. Today, I want to share with you a glimpse into Chris, the Chris I know and love, the Chris who focuses on possibilities. He is driven, determined for greatness. He expands all of our comfort zones, and whose love for his family and for Baylor is immeasurable. For starters, Chris lives by possibilities rather than probabilities. If you say there's an 80% chance of rain, well, he's focused on that 20% possibility that it will be a sunny day. And guess what? It usually ends up a sunny day. He sees challenges as yet another opportunity for creative problem solving, and he has a fiercely competitive spirit. I see some of his former teammates, they know about that spirit, but it underpins every one of his endeavors. Whether he is cheering on a sports team, the math team, or playing his family in a simple board game, planning a new project to make the school better, he loves the thrill of a challenge and the potential to succeed. Determination. This is probably the first adjective anyone would use to describe Chris Angel. He is a strong visionary and always has a clear idea on what he wants to achieve, and he works tirelessly to achieve these goals. We have seen this in the way that he pushes himself and how he pushes others around him. This means pushing people out of their comfort zones. This is a term we hear often in our family, but it is the place where the magic happens and where the growth happens. The other thing I love is that he seems to always see the best you inside of you. He sees that in people. He wants people to be the best that they can be. And through our marriage, I know that I have grown to be a better version of myself as I am inspired daily by him. Most importantly, though, I think he leads with an incredible balance of intellect, heart, and strength. This leadership makes a school feel more like a family, and he believes we are all a family. He loves Baylor with his whole heart, and he loves his family the same. And the girls and I are just beyond blessed to have the most dedicated and loving father and husband. In Baylor, you are getting one amazing head of school. Our family is humbled, and we are grateful to be back at Baylor. Our girls, all of us, are fully invested in this community. And now I'd like to introduce our amazing daughters. And one by one, they're going to get up and share a little bit of their dad with you so you can have a picture of what he means to them. Thank you, and go Big Red.
Good morning, Baylor School. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Rosemary Angel, and I'm the oldest of the 3 Angel daughters. I am currently a junior at the University of Georgia, where I'm having the incredible experience of following in the footsteps of both my parents, who also attended this university. I am so honored to be able to speak on behalf of my dad today, as he has been the most incredible role model in my life and the most effective leader I know, as he attacks every day with passion, dedication, and determination to be the best. It is so amazing being back in the city. I was born in Chattanooga a little over 20 years ago. My first house was on Old Baylor School Road, where I could hear the roars of Go Big Red from my crib. And let me tell you, the passion for this color stuck. It has been woven through my family's entire life. After UGA and Baylor, my parents then moved me to Hammond School in Columbia, South Carolina, where the mandatory Red Shirt Fridays displayed the passion and school spirit all over campus. You could always find my dad in his staple red tennis shoes, pacing up and down the sidelines of every sporting event, cheering on a team in red uniforms. And when I say every sporting event, I mean literally every event possible. People used to always joke and ask if my dad had clones of himself, because he was simply at every school event, even if that meant attending a middle school band performance, a lower school play, a National Honor Society induction, or one of my competitive cheerleading competitions, all in the matter of hours. He always shows up to the fullest extent. It is something that can be reflected in our entire family, as I don't think any of one of us missed a home football game in our 19 years at Hammond. My dad's boundless energy and dedication to everything he does truly makes him a unique and incredible leader. He has dedicated his life to the education of students and is truly cheering and rooting for every single one of you in all aspects of life. Trust me, I saw it firsthand. I know all of you, if you haven't already, will see the love and passion my dad has for this school. There's nothing more special than coming home, and my family is so lucky to be able to call this place just that. However, y'all are just as lucky to have such a determined yet humble and gracious headmaster. Thank you, and go Big Red.
Good morning, Baylor School. My name is Lily Angel, and I'm a freshman at the University of Georgia. I am so happy to be here today at Baylor School, a place I have always loved to visit with my dad. On early mornings visiting Chattanooga, my dad and I would come here and run Baylor's cross-country course together. This is one of my favorite memories with my dad. Waking up early and traveling to different places and exploring them on our morning runs. Now that I'm living in Athens, I really miss these bonding moments, but I'm so excited he gets to share them with all of y'all. There's so much I could tell y'all about my dad, but I've decided to share his #1 family rule. We have heard this rule from our toddler to teenage days, and it's been the anthem of our house. The rule is no whining. I've definitely broken this rule more times than I'd like to admit growing up, but the deeper lesson of what this rule has taught us is this. You work hard in every endeavor, you never give up, and you focus on the good. My dad has shown us every day that this simple rule can make your life better. Coming home for mandatory family dinners, he never brings home his work. He is always fully present with us, wanting to hear about what happened in our lives that day. He has taught us that integrity and honesty are the most important characteristics of a good life. However, witnessing how much he loves my mom, my sisters, and me are by far the greatest thing about my dad. I cannot wait to watch them take Baylor to new heights, and we are all so fortunate to call Baylor our home. Go Big Red.
Good morning. I'm Abigail Angel, and I'm a 9th grader here at Baylor School. I feel so incredibly lucky to attend a school my dad talked so highly of for so many years. I still cannot believe that my family just moved to a brand new state, but I'm so thankful that the school has welcomed us with open arms. It's a unique experience walking the steps which he walked so many years ago. It was strange to me to sit in a Baylor science class and have my dad's energy bouncing off the walls. Years ago, my dad taught 9th grade biology here at Baylor, and which happens to be my first ever Baylor science class. Each day, I grow to love this school more and more, and it's already starting to feel like home. When talking about our dad, there are countless wonderful things you could say. However, one thing that is so important to him is his sense of adventure. His adventurous spirit has been the leading characteristics that make him a great father and a great leader. His can-do attitude every day makes him feel like an adventure. Believing that travel is an important part of learning and growing, our family trips are always exciting and unusual. From to ice climbing and chasing waterfalls in Iceland, life is never dull on his adventures. When I found out we were moving, it was difficult to process. I had to step completely out of my comfort zone, which was really difficult, but he was there every step of the way, telling me that adventures can be the best things in life. This translates to how he approaches his life as head of school. He is always trying to create new opportunities for students and faculty. Moving back to Chattanooga and leading Baylor is yet another adventure that he is excited to take on. We are so proud and cannot wait to see where he leads Baylor. Thank you, and go Big Red.
said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Well, I don't know, I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that's by a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime, but let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship blown from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good. And just to clear the air, I ask forgiveness for the things I know you blame me for. But then I guess we know there's blame to share, and none of it seems to matter anymore. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that's by a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? I do believe I have been changed for the better. And because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for good.
Good morning. Thank you, Vic Oaks and Baylor students, for the beautiful music. It is a pleasure to be here today on this very important and joyous occasion. And please let me extend a warm welcome to Chris Angel's family and our many visitors gathered here today in Alumni Chapel. Before I make a few remarks and we officially install Chris Angel as Baylor School's 10th headmaster, I want to thank the Baylor School Board of Trustees, the Executive Committee, and Legacy Trustees Scott Probasco and Zan Gary. It was remarkable how we came together
unanimously agreeing that Chris Angel would become our 10th headmaster following a very quick national search. Fellow trustees, your advice, counsel, help, and wisdom on behalf of Baylor School is highly valued and appreciated. Thank you so much. Immediately, our decision to bring Chris on board was validated when we met Peggy Angel and daughters Abigail, Rosemary, and Lillian. Chris, you have a beautiful wife and family, and their enthusiasm for you and Baylor is apparent. Former Baylor master teacher, Dr. John Miller, advised his classes that, quote, words have meanings. And he would raise his little finger and say, use them carefully. Some of you may remember Dr. Miller. I do want to take a minute and examine the word headmaster. Handed down from the famous English halls of higher education at Oxford and Cambridge, a master teacher was one who demonstrated a mastery of a particular discipline. Even today, our universities across the country and abroad confer a master's degree upon a student who's put in the hours of work and study required to obtain that advanced degree. One might say one has mastered a particular discipline. Thus, a headmaster is the head or leader of the master teachers. He is one who has demonstrated the ability to not only teach, as Chris has done, but also to lead the master teacher. Indeed, many of Baylor's master teachers are here today, joining Baylor greats and legends, Pennington, Barrymore, Harris, Barks, Worsham, Hitt, Stover, Cushman, Kennedy, and many more. Chris has held administrative leadership positions at Baylor School, and most recently, serving as headmaster at Hammond for what, Chris, 10 or 12 years, 12 years. But to be a headmaster is more than leading the faculty. It shows that one has a skill set to appreciate the fine arts and music, athletics, community service, and the curiosity and ability to explore and appreciate the world beyond our gates. Make no mistake, we have such a man in Chris Angel. But to be a headmaster is far more than that. To be a headmaster at Baylor School means the Board of Trustees has placed a sacred trust in that person to lead the most precious asset God can give our school, our Baylor School students. We have entrusted Chris Angel to instill in our students, as well as the entire Baylor School family, the values of faith, honor, excellence, and magnanimous, a Latin word meaning greatness of spirit, among other things. Therefore, and Chris, please come on up here. And I'm going to read a proclamation. It gives me the greatest pleasure to have you follow in the footsteps of legendary heads at Baylor, Gary, Bart, Stacy, and Wilson. And it's my honor to formally induct Chris Angel, and I'm going to read this proclamation. Whereas, in accordance with the bylaws of the Baylor School and pursuant to the resolution adopted unanimously and enthusiastically by its Board of Trustees, Christopher Brent Angel has been elected as headmaster and president of the Baylor School. Now, therefore, in accordance with the customs and traditions of the Baylor School, I, Ryan Crimmins, by the authority vested in me as chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Baylor School and acting at its direction, do now officially install Christopher Brent Angel as the 10th headmaster of the Baylor School and confer upon him all rights, privileges, responsibilities, and emoluments pertaining thereto. Congratulations, Chris.
Thank you. Please be seated. It is with a multitude of emotions that I stand before you today. Chief among these emotions are humility, gratitude, and the deep sense of pride I feel for this venerable institution, all enveloped with a sense of wonder and awe. The same wonder and awe I experienced as a student. Later, as a young teacher, advisor, dorm parent, and coach. And today, as Baylor's 10th president and head of Baylor. Baylor helped chart my course at a young age and set me on a path that led me to today's ceremony. And I am forever grateful to those who have walked this journey alongside me, a journey that has found me coming full circle, coming home to Baylor. I want to start with thanking a few people for making this day possible. So many people are involved behind the scenes to pull off an event of this magnitude. And I just want everyone to know that I am grateful for all the work that went into today's planning. I want to thank our student performers. We've heard that several times. I continue to be impressed with all that I hear from the arts at Baylor. Both the orchestra, band, and our singers who just sang for good were awesome. Thanks to our special guests for being here today, particularly local heads of schools for taking the time to come and be with us. I certainly understand how valuable your time is each and every day, especially during a pandemic. So I'm really grateful that you took the time to be with us here this morning. Baylor and Chattanooga, we're fortunate to have some great schools. And so thanks for representing those schools and being with us today. Thanks to my friends for making the journey to be with me on this day. This is a day that is important on many levels. And I am who I am because of the people I've met, as we heard in the song, my friends. So thank you. Thanks to William for representing our faculty, Charles, our alumni, Jenny, our Parent Alliance, and Lily, Karai, and Brett, our students. Thanks to all our former heads of school. Dr. Barks, who is watching us virtually, and Dan for being with us today. I want to thank Scott and Susan Wilson for being present and for all that you've both done for Peggy and me in this transition, and really way beyond the transition. So thanks to you for all of the support you've given us. I also want to thank a special person to me who has been here before I became a student here, and she's already been referenced today. I think I saw Kitty Wadley almost every single day as a student when I was here, and she really did a good job of keeping us all in line. Perhaps even more than our dean of students back then. And I think a number of us would probably still remember some of those moments where we were brought back in line with a broom or whatever happened to be handy right there. So if you don't know Kitty, then you need to get to know her. She loves Baylor. Thanks to former and current members of the Board of Trustees for your trust in me, especially Ryan Crimmins, and your kind remarks. You and your wife, Boofy, have been so gracious in welcoming Peggy and me back to Baylor. So I'm very grateful for you and for all of the members of the trustees. My family, including my sister Bridget, who is here with us today, my brother Wes, who's watching virtually from Memphis. They are both Baylor alums. And I especially want to thank my parents who are here, all four of them, who sacrificed to give me the gift of a Baylor education. I know it wasn't easy financially for you to do that, and I'm extremely grateful for you giving me the gift of a Baylor education. And to my party of five, we are a team. Peggy, who has steadfastly embraced my dream of returning to Baylor and whose love and support have been integral to my own success. She has been a stalwart, an advisor, and my greatest supporter. From our days of dating to our first home in Lupton Annex, To our daughters, Rosemary, Lily, and Abigail, who have likewise embraced my love of all things red, whether at Baylor, Hammond, or UGA. Thank you for allowing me the privilege of attending school with each one of you every single day since you were in pre-K all the way through. That's pretty amazing. Not too many people get to do that. I know that's not easy either sometimes, but I hope you consider it the same privilege and honor that I have. So I'm humbled to be here today in this place, at this time and in this moment. As you heard, we are in our 129th year of teaching and learning here at Baylor. And nearly to the day, September 12th, 1893, our first headmaster, President John Roy Baylor, rang the bell to begin classes on the first ever day of teaching and learning at Baylor. In fact, it was this bell. I went and dug this out of the archives. This is actually Dr. Baylor's bell that he rang in 1893 on the very first day of classes for those 31 students who began. Beginning an exemplary school experience that would well prepare those students for the rigors of college and the business of life. Now, Baylor was not the only school founded in Chattanooga in 1893. In fact, there were 15 schools founded in 1893. However, only one of those schools survived. And if you expand that even further and you look from 1865, right around the end of the Civil War, all the way through the turn of the century, 1900, over 100 schools, private schools, were started in Chattanooga. Out of those over 100 schools that were started during that time frame, only one still exists today, Baylor School. Why did we survive when all those others failed? Well, in my opinion, it's the result of dedication, commitment, a willingness to adapt, and a desire to love. Years of dedication and love from so many teachers who gave everything to their students. Years of dedication and love from trustees who are loyal supporters, who sacrificed financially and otherwise to make sure Chattanooga had a school devoted to excellence. We not only survived, we quickly thrived because so many men and women dedicated their lives to serving others. I guarantee you, if you were to ask our 9,000 living alumni what was special about their Baylor experience, it would be some combination of the impact the adults and their peers had on each other in this Baylor family. So what has happened since Professor Baylor rang that bell for the first time? A number of books have been written describing all the great accomplishments, stories defying the odds, excelling in the classrooms, athletics, arts, service, and experiential settings all over the world. In spanning the decades since our founding, we have seen growth beyond measure, classrooms that fairly hum with a palpable intellect and enthusiasm, athletics that unite and propel, and arts that nurture and inspire. I realize that I have been passed a sacred torch. It is humbling to stand, as Charles said, on the shoulders of giants who have come before me, those who have helped create this moment in time, the success we enjoy, the common bonds we share, and the history before us, waiting to be written. Several of those legends are either here or watching live today. Others are certainly with us in spirit. My own Baylor story began officially in 1983 when I had my admissions visit here as a sixth grader. We weren't lucky enough to have sixth grade on campus back then. On that day, I met in person a man who would forever change my life. And it just so happened that he was the very first person I met on campus when I visited. His name was Jimmy Duke. Of all the people for me to meet, he was the first person I met and would become one of the more influential people in my whole life. It was not a coincidence. As we just heard, people come into our lives for a reason. And I believe that wholeheartedly. This man, the man for whom Duke Arena is named, was never my basketball coach, but he coached me in the game of life, teaching me how to love and support students along their journey. Other legends of inspiration that I've encountered along the Baylor path include history teacher John Chu, who multiple times would have cancer surgery in the morning and teach my history class in the afternoon. He never once considered taking the rest of the day off. He was too committed to us as his students. In return, how could I not give him my best effort? He would say, Angel, all it takes is all you've got. Great teachers bring out the best in us all. John Chu was a great teacher. I've had many great teachers at Baylor, and I could tell stories about so many of them. But in short, I'm grateful to each and every one of them. That is why Baylor continues to thrive to this day. The other man I met that day, and I visited as a sixth grader, is watching us live, as we heard. That's the school's fifth headmaster, Dr. Herb Barks. And he is without a doubt a true Baylor legend. He was my headmaster during my time here as a student. I then worked with him at Hammond in South Carolina, with him mentoring me. And he has really been a confidant and a mentor my entire professional career. So, Dr. Barks, it means the world to me that you're with us and that you are watching and continuing to support me on this journey. That's why I'm here. You taught me long ago that we should all in life search for that which melts our heart and then go do it. That's what I'm doing. That's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. We should all be grateful, Herb Barks, as we benefit for what he did to make Baylor great. Of all the emotions I feel, the gratitude is really the strongest of them. I am where I am in life because my parents ensured I received the best possible education. Because teachers, coaches, friends, and mentors, many of them at Baylor, cared enough to invest in my success. And I am here because Dr. Barks taught me to listen to the quiet whispers of my heart. As a result, I've had the opportunity to engage in truly meaningful work every day for nearly 29 years. The irony of it all is that on most days, it really doesn't feel like work. I've discovered too that the beauty in finding what resonates your heart is that your days are filled with meaning and purpose and that you become part of something larger. You realize that the be is greater than the me. You come full circle. I know I have. For me, coming full circle means many things. It is watching students take classes in classrooms where I was once taught and would later teach in Barks Hall, in classrooms that I helped design in weeks. It is seeing the children of my classmates and former advisees and former students walk the hill and experience all that is Baylor. It is watching my daughter put on a red Baylor soccer uniform and represent the Red Raiders like I had the privilege of doing back in the day. It is putting on the red blazer along with the seniors and taking pride in knowing what the B means to each and every one of us. It is walking the halls of Lupton where I actually lived in Coach Duke's former apartment. It is walking into my office each day knowing that it used to be Dr. Barks's office and more recently, Mr. Wilson's. It's me screaming, "Give me a B," standing next to Nick, wearing a B painted on his chest, along with the other letterman in the student section at a game. And it is so many more things. You see, education is an exploration in and of itself. You're exploring who you are and what you believe. You're exploring your level of commitment, how far you can push yourself, and you explore how to treat others. Sometimes it means exploring a jungle via a breathtaking river, or being introduced to a whole new world underwater on a Baylor scuba trip. Sometimes it means exploring Hinduism while walking the banks of the Ganges River in Varanasi, or visiting Buddhist temples with your Eastern religions teacher while in India. There are so many examples. Suffice it to say that I'm looking forward to exploring the world with you, Baylor students and faculty. That's what makes Baylor so amazing. We are empowered to take change of our own learning and expand our classrooms. Let's go to different countries, explore the world around us for real, not just on Instagram and TikTok. Let's paddle to Williams Island like our Cherokee forefathers did. Explore the caves on the other side, the jungles of Central America, the mountains of the Rockies, Tetons, and Himalayas, the world under the surface of water, on reefs in our oceans. Let's learn about the world in our classrooms and beyond. Let's strive to win state championships and learning from our mistakes along the way. Growing together as a community. Angel, all it takes is all you've got. Again, to everyone here and many watching from afar, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for warmly welcoming me home, for the sacred trust you have placed in me, for the abiding love we share for this institution, and for standing shoulder to shoulder with me as we write the next chapter in Baylor's history. As we look towards the future with optimism and back with pride, it seems only fitting to leave you with the words of our founder, John Roy Baylor, whose words are as fitting today as they were yesterday. And I quote, "It is my greatest hope that you will go into this new year with love for your neighbor, hope for the future, ambition for yourself, courage to struggle when times are tough, honorable and humble behavior, faith in your heart, and magnanimitas in your soul. Live so that you can say, if you were given the chance to live your life over again, that you would do it all the same." Mr. Crimmins, members of the Board of Trustees, I humbly accept the honor of becoming Baylor's 10th president, and I will serve the school to the best of my ability. I commit to upholding the values of Baylor in everything that I do, and go Big Red.
On the city's northern border, freed against the sky, proudly stands our alma mater as the years go by. Oh, whatever be our watchword, conquer and prevail. Hail to thee,
As you're singing, take a look behind you at our seniors and see how awesome this is.
the school of hail. Cherished by her sons and daughters, memory sweet shall throng. Round our hearts, our alma mater, as we sing our song. Oh, whatever be our watchword, conquer and prevail. Hail to thee, our alma mater, Baylor School of Hail.
Would you please remain standing for our benediction? Let us pray. Almighty God, as monarchs, priests, prophets, and all your servants were anointed with oil in the laying on of hands throughout the scriptures, on this day we ask that you would anoint our new head of school, Mr. Christopher Brent Angel, with the presence of your Spirit to lead the Baylor community. Like David, we ask that you would instill in Chris a heart that seeks you and is concerned for all your people. Like Solomon, we ask that you would grant him wisdom and discernment. Like Joshua, we ask that you would give him your strength and courage to lead us through seasons of celebration and challenge. May the goodness of your will inspire him with a vision for our community. And may he have the confidence to lead us towards that vision, even when few can see it or believe it. We ask that you would protect and strengthen Chris, Peggy, and their girls. May the life they live and their openness to share their lives with the Baylor community inspire us all. Help us to support them, to pray for them, and empower them. May we serve as a trustworthy foundation on which they can stand, a safety net into which they can fall, and a sanctuary where they may find the restful and renewing presence of your Spirit. Guide Chris today and every day for the sake of your great name. Amen.